Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Lori Hoover, intuitive guide and medium. Together, let's wake the fuck up. Today's guest helps people create the fulfilling friendships and lasting relationships that they deserve. He identifies as a transgender male, which means he was born as a female with the female anatomy, but transitioned into a male. He found that he was doing more damage than he realized when it came to building meaningful friendships and relationships. He struggled with this, even though he had friends in his life, but overcame loneliness by learning to love himself, especially after he transitioned. He has dedicated his life to helping others overcome the loneliness that comes from not making close friends. Please welcome Coach Lee Hopkins to the show.
Hey, Lori, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad you're here. So I wanted to ask you, Lee, can you explain what you were doing that actually damaged the relationships instead of built them?
Well, point blank, I was blaming everybody else. That's right. That is the T right there. That is the thing that I've done. So it showed up. I think it shows up in a lot of us in our relationships. And it feels uncomfortable to say we're blaming somebody else, but the focus, rather, is not on me. The focus wasn't on my actions and the things that I have done. So it was more so a focus on other people's response to my actions. If I did something they didn't like, why did you do that? Or what? No. It's more like, why don't you like what I did for you?
I was just curious about it because, we all do stupid stuff, in these interpersonal relationships because we're human.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of curious, like what exactly you meant by that you were doing more harm than good, essentially.
Absolutely. So, I could share the story with you about how I discovered this idea of like, there's something that I need to do, apparently, because like I grew up in a small town in Ohio and I felt like I didn't fit in. I just felt like I wasn't able to connect with the people there. And when I went away to college, I figured it's going to be a better experience because I'm going to have more people with different ideas and thoughts. And I just didn't have the same, I guess, the ideology as the small town. So going to the college was fantastic. And I thought I'm going to make connections. I'm going to fit in. Everything's going to be great. But that didn't happen. There was something about me that I just wasn't able to share with other people. I didn't quite know what that was. I didn't know, but I just felt like people just won't like me. And I took that mentality and I carried it with me for a while longer. After college, I spent some time in Ohio toiling around and I had an opportunity to move to California. Now I thought, all right, this is another thing. California is going to be way better than Ohio because Ohio is a small town. I mean, it's a red state. It just doesn't have the ideas that I need. I'm going to go to California where they have avocados. They're going to have lots of community. They're going to have lots of diversity. This is where it's going to be for me. I go to California and the same thing happens. But this time I'm a little older and a little smarter and a little wiser. So I figured I'll create something that will help people like me. So I created something that is Central Valley Karaoke. It's something like karaoke all the time. And the Facebook page, organized competitions, allow people to come and sing. And I still felt like I couldn't be myself. So then I was like, well, okay, obviously the US is messed up. I have to leave California altogether too. So goodbye, California. And I moved to Chicago, where I am today. And I went through a similar process. So I didn't know if you wanted to stop me there or you had another question for me.
The only thing that came up for me as you were talking about that is that it's one of those things that no matter where you go, there you are. If you don't clean up your own shit, it just goes with you no matter where you go.
I'm telling you, I put it in my suitcase from my little small town to my college to California, and then I brought it to Chicago.
Well, I mean, so obviously something transpired once you moved there where you were like, whoa, the same damn thing is happening. What's going on here?
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't what I thought. It wasn't what I thought it was either, because I came to Chicago, and shortly after I made it here, I made this transition. So when the transition from female to male, so I did all that stuff. I spent 30 something years as a female, presenting female. And I get to Chicago and I feel like this is the language that I met the community. I meet the people who have the language to tell me what I'm feeling and hiding underneath. So then once I make this transition, then I could be my authentic self and I could make all these great connections with other people. And no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And it was so frustrating, because I joined the community and I'm thinking I'm going to fit in right away, because we have this experience where we're transgender people. We're connected through that.
That, sure.
But there's a whole history and a background and a social class of that happens and with people and their own experiences and own life experiences. And to be able to understand that on top of being trans is different. Like being trans is just one intersectionality. Being from female to male or male to female, there's completely different experiences. Things like that are different. And I wasn't able, still felt like there was something I wasn't able to share with other people. And figuring out exactly what that thing was that I desperately wanted to share with other people, but was completely afraid that they would reject, was the task. It was the thing that I needed. And I went to therapy to find that. I realized through therapy, I had a really deep belief, deep belief that I was no good. I was not capable. I was just useless. And I thought that people would find that out. What do
You
you
know, well, it is such a common thing. It's such a common thing that I don't know what it is. I mean, it comes from so many different places, right? It comes from our upbringing. It comes from the people in our lives. It comes from society. It comes from just shit that happened, patterns when we were kids that we incorporate. We take that in as truth. And then, and then we're like, we're just not worthy. We're just shit. And that's so not true. But oh my God. So that's going to take me to the next question here. Self-love. It is so very important. So in your opinion, what does it actually mean to be a friend to yourself? And how can it contribute to making lasting friendships?
Wow, yes. So that's a great question. It does really play off of what I just said about like being friends with yourself is really understanding that thing that you have inside of you, that if you have apprehension about sharing with other people, what is that thing? And why do you think that other people are going to dislike it? More like, why won't you give people the opportunity to tell you that they dislike it? There's a fear of being rejected, of course, and being told that you're no good, and all that shit that we carried from our childhood and we carry from place to place to place, and we just keep it with us. And it's just a reminder of like, I don't want that experience again. And it's becoming a friend to yourself is when you recognize that little thing, whatever it is, that voice in your head, and making peace with it, saying that it's okay.
Well, because until you do, it can become a source of almost paralysis.
Absolutely.
Where you can't seem to move forward in life in a genuine, authentic, full out way.
Yes, exactly. And that's what happened to me. I mean, I was moving physically, but stuck doing the same thing, stuck doing the same thing. And it manifested for me as if I was a people pleaser. So I was a person
Ugh.
who was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, it's kind of gross, right? Like, oh,
Seriously, it is just one of the worst energies. I have friends who are still in that sort of vibe. And every time I look at where I am, and I hate to compare, but when I look at, I remember being there. And
mhm,
I'm just so grateful that I have gotten to
yeah,
the point where I don't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks about me, except me.
yes.
My opinion is the one that matters. Now, I'm not going to show up and be an idiot to everybody. I'm still going to be myself. I don't care what anybody else really thinks anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to tell you, Lori, that is the most attractive thing about people is when they reach that point when they become comfortable with who they are enough to share their thoughts and their opinions and not worry about if they're going to crumble or if other people are going to like it or not. They're not going to crumble. Those are the people who are attractive because those people show security. Those people show strength. Those people demonstrate that when you come to them, they're always going to help you by telling you the truth, telling you what you
Yes.
need, telling you what you not what you want, what you
Yes.
need, and they will provide safety for you. It just makes it comfortable. I'd rather go to people like when I look back at myself and think about how I was such a people pleaser. It's not something that just goes away, but it was
Right.
something that it was really helpful to recognize that, all right, this is a people pleasing tendency, and I recognize that not many people like this. It doesn't make people feel safe because I'm wishy-washy. I'm
Mm,
not sure. I don't show up. I don't do the things that I say that I'm gonna do. I make people feel uncomfortable. They don't know what they're gonna get when they come talk to me. Yeah. That's why that's exactly why.
right. Many years ago in the late 90s, I think, my brother told me one time that I was a doormat. And I'll tell you, that was really a wake up type of thing for me to actually look at how am I showing up if my own brother perceives me as that? I don't stand up for myself or whatever. And that was something that I really had to look at, the whole people pleasing thing and all of that. And it's crazy. But so being a friend to yourself, loving yourself, how does it actually contribute to making the lasting friendships? Like you said,
Mm,
is it, because now all of a sudden you are more steady? People know what to expect when they come to you. They can rely on you.
say it. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Lori. Exactly that whole thing. It's like I'd rather come to somebody who is going to tell me no than be like, maybe, yeah, I guess I'll help you, but then resent me all the way.
Lee, I was having a conversation with my son the other day, and my thing, I say this to him all the time: direct is best. Lying just does not serve a purpose. It doesn't. And he said, well, aren't there some circumstances where you would do it? And it made me think of that whole thing when your girlfriend comes to you and says, do these pants make my ass look big? Guess what? If they do, I'm going to tell you. And I would want somebody to do the same for me because I don't want to be out there looking ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just, you just have to put it out there. Yes, that you look like shit.
Yes.
Take it off. Go change your clothes.
Yes, exactly. And there is a way to present the truth
For sure.
without being offensive and horrible and trying to hurt the person's feelings.
Well,
That's
yes.
not what that's not what you're saying. That's not what you're saying. I just want to put it
No.
out there for people who are maybe like, um, I can never tell the truth in that situation. Well, I want you to recognize, consider something else. In that situation, it is not about those pants. It is really not. There is something deeper going on with this person who might feel insecure about what they're wearing, or they really just there might be something deeper going on. Maybe they just really want the truth. And I think you should start with the physical layer that's right there, the one you can see and touch, feel right there. You
Yeah.
want to start with that one and talk about what's there. And then we can peel it back. Okay, baby, why don't you like these pants? What's really going on? You can
Mhm.
really get to deeper stuff. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we're stuck lying about the things that we don't like until they get to an explosive point. Wake the
Yes.
fuck up, right?
And I think that's such a key point to make, that it is a surface thing, that there
Hmm.
is something else going on beneath that. It's huge because people just kind of, blow things
Hmm.
like that off, and they don't really stop and think, what else is there? What's really going on? People don't typically do that.
Exactly. The typical reaction in my past relationships would be like, why are you asking me that question? That's a trap. And then we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you are even, I call those things like setup questions. I call them setup questions because it just seems like it's set up for some kind of emotional reaction. I think it's emotionally laced question. There's some feeling going on there. And if you just answer the question, you'll get more information about what's happening. But how it
Right.
relates to making better connections is when you feel better with yourself, instead of asking a question like that, you could say something like, I'm feeling insecure. Compliment my butt. I mean, that's strange to say because it's just not in our vocabulary, but that is
Huh?
what you want. That is really
Right.
what you want. And not just for relationships, but for friendships, be able to tell what you want. I'll give you a
Yeah.
quick example. Yesterday was my 39th birthday. Ooh,
Ah, happy
yeah.
birthday.
Thank you so much. I had a couple of friends message me and they just said, hello, what's going on? They were talking about their day, didn't say happy birthday. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, well, maybe later in the day they'll say that. And they didn't. And so instead of sulking, instead of feeling sad about it, instead of being like, oh, they should have remembered, I just said, hey, it's my 39th birthday. Wish me happy birthday. Please. And they did. And they were like, oh, I forgot. Thanks for reminding me. What'd you do? Oh, I forgot. It happens. It's like, yeah. And I felt really great because instead of being resentful, I just asked for what I need. I just asked for
Yeah.
what they have things going on in their lives.
Sure.
That's fine. It's fine. It's not like I feel comfortable enough with myself to say that. And this is what I need and ask for it.
We were never really taught to do that for
Hmm.
anything, really. It's almost like we should just suck it up,
Yeah,
just deal with it. I just feel like we weren't taught to deal with emotions, period. It literally is that. Just go deal with it. And you
yeah,
don't ever get to be able to actually process it. And so now
exactly.
what are we doing? We're peeling back the layers and trying to heal the shit that happened, 40, 50 years ago.
Hmm. I was gonna say it's a lot of shit. That's all.
Yes, yes, it is. It most certainly is. What steps can someone actually take to become a friend to themselves?
This is a great question because it does. You can, travel, I guess, from Ohio to California to Chicago and have this experience. You could keep trying and trying and trying. But the point is that to become a friend to yourself, you have to reflect on your experiences and really take account into what you desire and what you don't desire, what it is in your life that makes you feel fulfilled and that you want to have and what you don't. And I do that. I recommend that through journaling.
Mm.
So it's hard to look back at your experiences and really like think, this is how I felt in that situation. And this is what I want more of in that situation because life, it seems to happen. We seem to focus on it in big chunks. We seem to focus on the big things that happen through our lives, the milestones. Go to college, get married, have kids. Those are milestones. But there are things that happen every single day throughout your life that we have not been conditioned to pay attention to. We have not been conditioned to pay attention to the fact that we get up and we eat the same breakfast every morning and we go to work and we do this pattern. And then at the end of the day, we're just working for the weekend and we feel unfulfilled until we get to the weekend where we do this thing that we really like. And we just kind of block out the rest of those days. So becoming a friend in yourself means recognizing what you do from the day to day. It's like being more mindful and
Yep.
awake to what you are experiencing. And so it keeps us from stepping into these patterns where we're constantly trying to, let's say, people please.
Mhm.
And we realize that people please, people please, people please. And one day you wake up and you realize you have no friends because nobody's really closely connected to you because you hadn't really been paying attention to what you've been doing, like
Mhm.
me.
It is something that we do tend to do because from the time we're children, there's this whole idea about needing to fit in. And so we do things that we think people want us to do in order to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of my clients, when I'm working with them, I'll have them do what is commonly referred to as mirror work.
Mm.
And so you literally set a timer for 5 minutes, you stand in front of the mirror and you say whatever nice thing that you can legitimately feel good about to yourself. And you do
Mm.
this for 5 minutes every day. And it can be brutal. I mean, quite literally, the first time that I tried to do that, I couldn't even look myself in the eye for like a week. And then when I finally did, I lost my shit. I mean, I just cried and cried and cried. And I thought, wow, I didn't realize that I disliked myself as much as I did. And it was really sad. And it was just a huge thing. But the one thing about doing the mirror work is that it begins that process of peeling back those layers. And
Hmm.
then, the things that you're talking about, like really looking at who you are, how you're showing up in the world, that is another piece of the puzzle to peeling back those layers. And
Yeah, yeah. I had to laugh. I feel like, oh, I'm
no,
sorry. I want to
no,
apologize,
no, you don't have to
but
apologize.
but I mean, I laughed because I thought it was such a joyous thing. And based on, the energy I'm feeling from you, you believe that it's a joyous thing too. Like I discovered something about myself and it's all about that. All right, now I know where to start. I know
Yeah.
where I'm going. And so I'm like, wow, that is something else. I mean, looking at yourself in the face, I can imagine not being able to do that many years ago just because of the same thing that you felt. It
Yeah.
just we just feel that same way about ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, wow. So then I'm curious, if you don't mind, I'm curious if I could ask a little bit about, the how long did it take you to work through that process to get,
Wow.
let's say, to get to a different, because we're always working on ourselves, like to get to a different point where you
Well,
start to like yourself more.
I would say that it took me at least a good month before I was able to do something that was below the surface, meaning that, okay, I would say I love my eyes or I love my dimples, or it was always some physical type thing. And it literally took me about a month before I was able to say, you know what, I'm a good mom. I'm a good friend, or whatever it was. It took me
Yeah.
a good month easily.
Wow.
And even then it was still just like a thing. The rest
Hmm.
of it continued to be, my eyes and my dimples and whatever. It was shit. I don't know. It took me a good half a year before I completely eliminated the physical crap and went to me.
Wow.
So,
I am in awe about that. This is the first time I've ever heard of this exercise. And I think
oh
it's a
wow.
wonderful exercise. Yeah. Like to stand
Yeah.
in front of yourself and do a reflection like that. Because my thoughts are just about journaling, quite journaling and writing that thing down and then going back to reflect on it. But
Yeah.
you have to look at yourself
Yes.
and you have to speak to yourself. Now, I believe in as many senses as possible. Doing that will help you learn. Like if you experience something in as many senses as possible, so you're looking at something and you're
Yep.
saying it out loud to yourself and you're hearing it. All of that stuff, you get to internalize it. I really like this exercise so much that I like to share it with other people.
Oh my God, absolutely. It wasn't mine anyway. I actually got it from Louise Hay, I think. It really was very impactful for me and
Mm,
shifted a lot of things.
yeah, I believe
You
that
know,
that wholeheartedly. Yeah. And that's like you have to be a friend to yourself. You have to look at yourself and know what you're worth before you can even connect with anyone else.
yeah, well, let me tell you that part of it, the knowing what you're worth, the mirror thing aside, has literally taken me years to
Mm,
get to the knowing what I'm worth thing. And it took someone else seeing me.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The same for me with the therapy. It's like, oh, you're no good. You're nothing. Oh, so let's see. You went to college. You found your way to California, and you created this little group. And you got yourself to California or Chicago, and you got this nice job. And yeah, okay, I see. You're
Hmm.
complete trash.
Right.
Like, okay, I
Right.
didn't even notice I was doing these things. And
Well, I was so grateful when it actually like hit me, like,
mhm,
holy shit. I never had it reflected back to me in that way.
yeah.
And when I did, I was just so grateful to him, so grateful. He's like, I'm just calling it like I see it type of thing, and kind of blew it off. But for me, it's like, oh my, you have
Yes.
no idea,
Yes.
dude. You literally just changed my life. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, Lee, ever since that, my bar is like way the fuck up here now. It's just like,
It
you know,
is. It has to be. You have to have those standards for yourselves, or else you're just gonna attract the same kind of people who do the
yes.
same kind of things. You know, I was gonna say that, as a coach, and you're a coach as well, right? So
Yeah.
you can start, you can see that in other people. But once you start seeing it in yourself, you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty obvious to me. Like when somebody walks up to me and they start talking about things that they've not able to do, or challenges that they've had and they failed at them, I'm like, that's not what I see. I think it's because you mentioned the gratitude a couple times, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, like how gratitude can make you like grateful for an experience, so you can be able to like shift your mindset about it.
Yeah.
Like, this was a terrible event that happened, but look how you triumphed, and I'm grateful for the experience. So
Right.
I just thought that's awesome.
Therein lies our growth, right? If you don't have the experiences, what the hell happens? You just
Exactly.
stagnate.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you, what do you think keeps us from being connected with others, even though we may really want to be?
Oh yeah, I really think that because we can't be ourselves, just deep down we have some blockage, we're stuck. We can't be our true authentic selves, that we as humans are like, no one else can. Nah. And we make it hard for other
Right.
people to be themselves. And so we miss this authentic connection, because now nobody can share their truth, because they don't want to be hurt by you, and you don't want to be the only one who can't share their truth. Really want to be close and connected with them, but you can't let them be themselves because it somehow makes you feel sad, or it upsets you, it hurts you in some way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy the things that we do. We really are here to experience that connection with everybody. We are that type of being that we
Hmm.
need that connection. We're not meant to be solitary beings. We're just not doing the things that literally push people away. And one of the things, going back to the people pleasing for a minute, one of the things that really helped me to get past that was remembering that every single one of them has their own shit too, right? And so none of us has any right to judge anyone else, because
Hmm.
we're just human. We're just having this experience. And
Yeah, exactly. And to add to that, I really believe that along those lines is the connection is letting other people be themselves. But not just that, the way we do it is to make a connection through, since we can't, I can't have your experience, Lori. I don't have any kids. I don't, I do collect rocks though. I did listen to part of your podcast. I love some of those, but
Awesome.
I cannot have your experience, but I can sit here and connect with you and talk about your experience because I can acknowledge what you said. I can acknowledge the history that you said, the data, the information about the experience, but also how you feel about the experience. I'm not shitting on you about how you feel about anything in this experience. I'm rolling with you and making sure I reflect back what you think and how you feel.
Right.
It is not how I think and how I feel. Not at all. It is your experience. And that's what makes our connection. That's what makes our connection. Then I can share how I feel, how I think. And you are not shitting on anything that I've said here and I experience and everything like that. You're rolling right with it. And it is not how you feel, but it is how we connect. So we have a whole lot of things that we have in common and we're easily connected upon. So let me say it in a different way, because it seems like we're vibing really easily here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the
Yes.
same beliefs and stuff. But when it comes to a place where people don't share your feelings about something, this is where the work comes. This is where the connection is. You set yourself aside, your whole body, your everything that you are. You're like, yeah, I know this is what I feel and think. But right now, I'm going to reflect back what this person thinks and feels. And they want to be seen so badly that it hurts. And when you provide that kind of space for them, you create that connection.
With that in mind, I am going to stop right here for a second, and we're just going to take a quick break, pay some bills, and we will be right back in a moment.
Perhaps you've thought about starting your own podcast. I can tell you firsthand that starting a podcast was one of the best decisions I have ever made, but it can feel overwhelming if you don't know how to get started. Well, that's where Buzzsprout comes in. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch a professional podcast. In fact, it's so good, they've already helped over 100,000 people launch their own podcasts. Buzzsprout will get your podcast into every major podcasting platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. You also get a great-looking podcast website, audio players you can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening, tools to promote your episodes, and on and on. Plus, Buzzsprout publishes new blog posts, podcast episodes, and YouTube videos every week, so you can learn the ins and outs of podcasting from the people who eat, drink, and breathe it. To start your own podcast and get a $20 Amazon gift card, follow the link in the show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you and helps support our show. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to start a podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. So, Lee, what benefits are there to developing intimacy with yourself?
Wow. Well, some real benefits to developing intimacy. First of all, I want to say intimacy is closeness. It's this ability to really be vulnerable with yourself. And that can be anything from, well, I really have to, I'm going to go right back to this mirror exercise. And that's probably why I was attracted to it so much, is because that's intimacy. That's vulnerability with yourself. I mean, there's a lot of people who aren't able to stand in front of the mirror nude. I mean, that's intimacy. That's like right there. That's you. You're looking at yourself. And to look deeper is more to it. Well, what you get when you do that is stability and certainty in who you are. And certainty, I mean, we change, right? We change, but we want to know what our core is. We want to know what our core values are. And when you get that kind of core value alignment, and when you share with other people, if they come at you with bad vibes, if they don't like what you've got to say, then you're okay. And if they do like you, they put you on a pedestal and they love what you have to say, you're fine. You don't have to react to any of that stuff because you know that you are enough. That's what
Yes.
intimacy will do for you. Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's awesome. So what do you feel are some attributes of a lasting friendship? Like for me, it's reciprocity is way up there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, I would. I just thinking. I laugh because like I think about these relationships that I used to have and how they were always missing something, and it was always the thing was like being able to share what I needed from them. It wasn't until recently I actually got an emergency contact. Like I felt so closed off, and I've been
Oh,
had a couple surgeries, and I go to the hospital, and it's like, well, who's your emergency contact? Nobody. I don't know. I don't have one, and so I don't want to get too far off, but I really think that the people who know you well, like attributes of a lasting friendship, is that these are going to be surface level ones, so they'd be helpful for people to identify. Is that you build rapport with each other. Do you know you can go banter back and forth between each other because you kind of know each other's feelings. You know how people are going to react to things. You know their jokes. You know what makes them comfortable. You're easily able to build rapport with them, and they know you on a different level because you talk about things. You take pictures of your dinner and you talk about the dinner, or you talk about the little things that happened on the elevator, some guy talked to you today or whatever. You talk about those things and they know more about you because you share with them on that level. You don't come into their life when it's like, oh, I'm a supportive friend because you just had a baby, but you
right.
didn't know that she and her boyfriend or he and whatever had been having problems. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
So the
Well,
friendship is in the details.
I'm not a person who really appreciates small talk. For me, it's a waste of time. Don't come and talk to me about the fucking weather. I can look it up on my
Yes,
phone, you know?
exactly.
I can look out the window and see, yeah, it's raining. Okay.
Exactly.
You know, don't waste my time with that shit. What's
Hmm.
the point?
Yeah, exactly. The point is for us to connect. And I like to say that talking about these events and things like that, they make conversation, but talking about how we feel about these events make connection.
Right.
I'm going to tell you about how I feel about the rain because it's going to water my crops, or it's going to ruin my day that I was going to have, or something along that, something deeper about what's happening in me and how I feel about it would be
Right.
greatly appreciated. That's a really great point right there.
Yeah, like I love a thunderstorm. I love, love, love a thunderstorm. Some people, it terrifies them. It's a personal thing. It's not just like looking out the window and saying, oh, it's raining.
Right now, I know we're doing a podcast, but I'm trying to be your friend apparently because I'm like, what do you like about thunderstorms?
Right.
I'm super curious. Like, where did that come from? And oh, yeah,
Uh,
that's what that's what lets us get to know each other.
And I wish I could answer that because I honestly don't know where that comes from. I just know that I have always loved thunderstorms. I love the rain. I don't know.
Soothing.
Yeah, it kind of is. Even with the thunder and lightning, and it doesn't bother me at all. I find it very enjoyable as long as I feel safe. And for me, I'm always safe. That's something I affirm like every day.
Yeah, I'm over here that's smiling so big. You guys can't see it, but it's because I just think, wow, that just kind of confirms what we were talking about for me, that you are a person who's really solid in your standing of who you are. Because
Mm.
like the sky is literally opening up and lightning bolts are coming down, and you're like, yeah, that's calming.
Seriously,
You know what I
I would,
mean?
yes,
So
my ass would be, if I had one of those covered porches, my ass would be out there sitting in a rocking chair watching what was going on under the covered porch. That would be me
yeah,
in the
you're
middle of you know,
solid, solid. I love it. I love it.
I do too. It's a big shift for me to be in this space and I'm grateful for it. So, well, I got to
Hmm.
tell you, this has been just an absolutely wonderful conversation, really, truly wonderful. And I'm going to have this information up in the show notes But for anybody who would like to get a hold of you, anybody that would like to work with you, how would they go about getting in touch with you?
Yeah, Lori, it really has been a great, it was so fun. It was so fun to chat with you. It's been a great conversation. And I almost said interview, like that. It's not an
Yeah.
interview. So it didn't feel like one to me. So I have a couple of things that you can find from me on patternsofpossibility.com/more possibility. Right there, I have 10 tips for making memorable conversation. So conversation is not quite easy, but we were just talking about how you need to get in and make something memorable and connecting with emotion. So I've got 10 tips for you to do that, as well as a
Awesome.
free course of understanding connections. So when we
Ooh.
talked about intimacy and understanding why it's so important to know yourself before connecting with other people, it's a free course. You can find all that information at patternspossibility.com/more possibility. Yes.
That's amazing, Lee. Thank you very much. I mean, I think the listeners are going to love that. And it's a free resource. How amazing. That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
So I want to ask you, is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap it up? This has been just fantastic. Anything you want to add?
Almost, I don't know how many times we can say that it's been fantastic, but it has really been a treat and a joy. And I want to share that, I guess, what I discovered, creating these patterns is that you can make new patterns and you can break them. And if, we can do it no matter where you are in your journey, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, no matter if you think you've internalized that stuff, you can change it. You can change it.
Yes, you can. And I'm going to add something to that, because part of what took me so damn long, I mean, I just turned 56 in February. So this has been like, just a long ass journey.
Mm-hmm.
It took me so long because, and I hate to say this because it makes me feel like, I'm a very intelligent woman. Like, how in the hell could I have missed this huge piece of information? But I didn't really understand until like 2006 that a belief is nothing more than a thought that you keep thinking. Quite literally, you can change your beliefs. Just because it's shit that you were taught from your parents does not make it true.
Right.
And I mean, seriously, when I really got that, when it really sank in, I was like, oh my God, I feel so stupid, like, how in the hell did I not know that? How did I not understand that? But I guess I just didn't, it wasn't something I had ever internalized. Like, wait a minute. It's like I knew, my father's religious beliefs never resonated for me ever. And I knew it didn't feel legit to me, but I was like, well, that's what I was taught. It must be the real deal,
Yes.
So I basically just ignored my feelings, and then finally I just couldn't anymore. But literally 2006 is when I got it, 40 years old.
Wow. I have to say that I was going to say something ridiculous like, what took you so long? But that's not even funny. I'm like, seriously, I mean, when you get it, you had all this experience to go through, and then now you've got this new belief. And some people never get it.
Being a medium, being an intuitive, I have a much broader perspective these days. And so I understand that there are certain things that we are actually meant to experience in this life, and that for some people, it is never figuring shit like that out. That's just part of their journey in this go round, if you will. I mean, I had my one and only kid 18 days after I turned 40. And then after I had him, all of a sudden, bam, now I'm awake.
I could continue on and ask more questions, but I know that we're towards the end. So, but I feel like, wow. Okay. So I understand. It was more like you were a medium. And so that you were a medium before this, or when did you discover?
No, I've been intuitive my whole life, even though I didn't know that that's what it was. But I was always that person that people came to for advice and stuff like that. And because I was usually pretty level-headed, and And I don't mince words, you know, even as a
Mm.
kid, I heard a million times, gee, Lori, tell us what you really think, you know, because I just put it out there, you know, but I have only been a medium for the past, well, since 2015. So this
Mm.
is not a gift that I was born with, or I mean, we all have the ability to connect with spirit, but again, we're not all meant to in this lifetime. And for me, like I said, it was 2015, and it was a crazy, bizarre experience, but it was amazing.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be recorded after this part. So I
No,
just
no, and
realized
that's
we're still
okay.
recording. So I feel like we're doing a whole new episode. I'm so curious about your experience because I really like what you said about how we all can connect to spirit, but we're not all meant to in this time. And like the recognition that helps me with my journey. Right, let's say that.
That's
That helps me with my
good.
journey to understand that. Yeah, a
That's
whole
good.
lot. Yeah,
Good.
so
I'm really glad. So, well, again, I'm going to reiterate, this has been absolutely awesome. And I'm just so thrilled to have you joining me today, Lee. This truly has been a wonderful experience. So
yes, and I will definitely keep in touch with you and connect with you again. Um,
awesome.
you
I
know,
would love that.
yeah, and if you have anything else going on and you want to share with me, please don't forget my email.
Oh, I won't. I won't, definitely. And I want to say thanks to everyone who tuned in today. As always, I'm grateful for your presence. And I'll see you back here next Sunday with another episode as we continue to wake the fuck up.